In the first scene today, we learn that there was a man who predicted that the planet would become extinct very soon. After he informs the Emperor of this, the Emperor orders his execution for the crime of treason. It turns out the Emperor is actually working as a secret agent, and he's the one who sent this message, and because of him, the giant monster Krypton eats him. Unfortunately, this man was loyal and had never done anything bad. They also decide to exile his whole family, and his grandson stands watching the whole scene and keeps crying and swearing that he will avenge his family for everything that happened to them. After a few years, the boy grows up, and we learn his name is Sai, and he always seems angry and is always causing problems. Since he and his family were exiled, they became part of the common people, and the soldiers use him like a punching bag. After they finish beating him, they feel like they still want to hurt him more. So one of them pulls out his weapon and gets ready to finish him off. If it hadn't been for his friend intervening in the situation, he would actually have been dead. His friend scares the soldiers with his own weapon until they leave. None of them notice the strange man sitting in the corner who's watching everything that's happening. C goes back home afterward, and as soon as his dad sees his condition, he's very upset and keeps blaming him, thinking that he's the one who gets himself into trouble all the time for no reason. But Sai stays totally silent. We understand that ever since what happened to his grandfather and they were exiled, his father decided to live quietly and never tried to get his rights back at all. He has to say goodbye to them to go to his job, and Sai notices that his dad forgot to take his medicine box with him, so he follows him to catch up to him. Since they're from the common people, their life is very difficult. Even his dad doesn't have work permits, and he works illegally. As soon as Sai gets to the door, he tries to go inside to give his dad the medicine. When they stop him, he thinks about how to force his way in, and he doesn't know that this decision will affect him and his family forever. He manages to sneak in without anyone catching him, but he gets very lost inside and can't figure out where his dad is. At the same time, Emperor Ralph is standing giving a very important speech. As soon as Sai hears his voice, he gets angrier and remembers everything that happened to his family before. He notices someone standing among the people with a ray coming out of his hand and realizes it's a bomb. Of course, if it explodes, it'll kill a very large number of people, so he runs to stop him and keeps hitting him until the guards come, see the bomb, and kill the man in seconds. The Emperor gets to know about the bravery C just did, that he's a very strong boy and not afraid of anything. And Judge Darm is also impressed by him. None of them know that he's from the line of Krypton. Darm tells him about his daughter, Shoni, and that he really wishes she could marry a brave young man like him. He convinces him to accept, and then C will get rid of the insignia of the common people and live among the Darm family. Sai is shocked by the offer. He sees Shoni's extraordinary beauty and accepts without even thinking, seeing this as the best way to get among them and live the life he dreams of. He decides to take revenge on them and fulfill the promise he made his grandfather a long time ago. At that time, he sees some soldiers beating up an old man, so he tries to protect the man as much as he can and gives the soldiers a lesson in courage, completely forgetting that no one will defend him in this place because they aren't like the common people. The soldiers try to shoot him until his friend, who works in the resistance army, arrives, protects him, saves his life, and takes him away, pretending that she'll arrest and punish him for what happened. As soon as they're alone, she unties him and advises him to calm down for a while, says goodbye, and leaves. Right after that, the same mysterious man who had been watching him a few days earlier appears again. He throws a small stone into C's hand and disappears without explaining anything. When C looks at the stone, he finds the family's name engraved on it and thinks it must be something important. He takes it home to show his family. As soon as his father sees it, he becomes very worried and explains that the stone looks valuable and insists on keeping it with him. C gets suspicious about his father's behavior, feels like he's hiding something, and waits for the right time. He steals the stone from his father's pocket and leaves immediately. On his way, he comes across some soldiers and beats them up, thinking they're coming to harm him. Strangely, they know about the stone he has and forcibly take it from him before running away. Sai is furious that the stone was stolen before he could learn anything about it, and he decides to follow them until he finds them, beats them both, takes back the stone, and runs without looking back. Another soldier sees him and follows him with a weapon, trying to finish him off. They keep going like this until Sai finds himself at a dead end and wonders how he'll escape this time. Suddenly, a very bright light appears around him, and he tries to understand what's happening, only to be surprised that his mom has come with a small ship to save him. He gets in with her quickly, and they escape the whole place. She tells him she won't take him back home and that she's bringing him somewhere else a bit farther away. She explains that this place is his grandfather's research center, which he called the Fortress of Solitude. C tells her about all the disasters he caused and reminds her that his grandfather died unfairly and that he wanted to avenge his death. After a while, they get to the place, and from a distance, C sees their family crest displayed on the building. He's very happy at the sight, feels all kinds of emotions, and is shocked when he discovers that the key to the building is actually the stone he has. When he enters, he sees strange equipment and machines his grandfather made himself, and his mother is also deeply moved and tells him the place is full of their memories. Suddenly, their private speaker's alarm goes off, and they realize the soldiers were following them and managed to reach this place. To keep the secret lab from being discovered, his mother quickly takes him and escapes to another place before the soldiers arrive, takes him home, and hides him in a certain place. The soldiers surround the whole area and attack the house fiercely, talking to his mom and trying to get her to reveal where he is, putting her on trial because she erased her ship's memory. They pressure her to say who was with her on the ship, but she stays completely silent. When his father comes back and hears what happened, he understands what Sai and his mother had done in secret and decides to take the blame. He tells them that he was the one with his wife that day and admits he's also part of the resistance. Everyone is shocked. To make them suspect him more, he steals a weapon from one of the guards and gets ready to attack one of them. Unfortunately, he dies, and his wife understands exactly what he was trying to do. She decides to do the same, gets shot the same way, and now there's no case. Nobody at all to be a witness anymore. C's anger grows, and his desire for revenge increases. After a while, he returns to the castle again, and by coincidence, sees the same strange man who appeared before. He hits him and blames him, saying that if he hadn't shown up, his family would still be alive, and that all this happened because of the stone. The man assures him that they had to make a sacrifice one day. He holds a red cape with the family name on it and explains that his name is Adam and that he's come from Earth about 200 years in the future. He tells him that Sai's grandson, whose name is Superman Kal, was in a huge battle trying to prevent evil as much as he could. But that evil has now come to the present to destroy Sai and end Kal's life before he's even born, wiping out his family's roots. Then Kal will disappear completely, and so will C's family. C feels like he doesn't understand anything and isn't excited at all to help him. All he thinks about is how to get revenge. Adam gives him the cape and leaves him alone to think. Sai then goes to buy a small dagger and plans to sneak into the palace and kill Emperor Ralph. Adam is very scared when he finds out and is worried that Sai could get himself killed and mess everything up. He tries to find a way to stop him. C enters the palace, sees Shoni on his way, and she tells him she secretly took his family's ashes to give him. She tells him she's very worried about him and he needs to take care of himself. C confesses he has feelings for her, but the circumstances aren't in his favor. He says goodbye, takes the ashes, and leaves. At that moment, he sees Adam, who starts following him, of course. C gets to his grandfather's lab. When he looks carefully around at all the equipment, he feels he has to do something with them to make his grandfather's wish come true and save the future of the planet. After a bit, he finds a blood-activated device, pours some of his blood onto it, and a very high, strange light appears. He's shocked when his grandfather appears before him again, and he runs to hug him, but is disappointed to find it's nothing but artificial intelligence. His grandfather explains that he was well aware of all the powers his grandson has, so he made this device, expecting him to connect with his intelligence, and was able to upload all his consciousness to it. He says he can help him at any time thanks to this device and tells him about all his experiments. He explains that in his latest vision for the planet, unknown types of parasites are going to wipe it out. Then his grandfather tries to give him some advice, thinking that Sai is a bit reckless and has to control himself if he really wants to succeed with his plan. He tells him how the lab stone was lost one day, and after a while, a woman working in garbage collection with her son found it, cleaned it, and offered it for sale. Strangely, as soon as the guards attacked her, she turned into something strange. Her eyes glowed red, and she showed superhuman powers. Sai leaves and goes back to the palace with some guards and successfully sneaks among them. None of them sense what's going on outside. They use the device his grandfather left, and when he finds it empty, he feels like something is wrong. His grandfather explains that a new type of guards is going to invade the whole area and the planet's communications center. These are definitely the parasites, and they've found a host to move among people easily. He believes they have to get rid of these parasites as quickly as possible before they destroy the planet. Sai runs to the information center to make sure of what he heard. He actually finds out that strange things have started showing up, and he bargains with someone there to get credits from Section 4. At that moment, a huge number of soldiers arrives at the incident site. Sai thinks they're coming for him, so he gives the component he has to Adam and asks him to return it to the Fortress of Solitude as fast as he can. In the end, he finds out it was just a coincidence, and they weren't after him at all, so Adam takes the piece, puts it back in its place, and the grandfather decides to test it first. He finds out that the parasite inside it is already dead, and Adam calls Sai, who is still wandering around the market. He's very happy when he hears the news, but then is shocked when his grandfather explains that this is, in fact, a big disaster. The parasites must have found a better host. C has to leave because the police are after him, and he's worried they'll track the lab. He's surprised to see Lara's colleagues acting suspiciously, so he starts to suspect they are the host. He asks Lara to give him a special type of bomb, takes it, and goes directly into the battle. At that moment, we see the first woman who got infected, covered in terrifying wires. We realize she's transferring data from the planet to Brainiac. When Sai tries to stop her, she manages to control him remotely with the wires attached to her. Sai realizes he has to act fast, so he takes out the bomb he has and detonates it without even thinking about what could happen to him. The bomb covers a very large area and disables all the communications equipment. He takes the woman after she passes out and is very sad for her despite everything she did because it's not her fault and it was the parasite controlling her. He realizes the parasite left her body when it sensed she was dying. At that moment, another host enters the Emperor's body without anyone noticing. The guards take the infected woman's daughter and hide her somewhere safe. The girl clings to a very strange small statue in her hands, then decides to give the statue to the Emperor since she doesn't have anything else left. The Emperor is overjoyed because even though she's young, she's loyal and tries to please him, so he accepts the statue and makes the girl one of his priestesses. In this way, the host gets into his body easily, and over time he changes and suffers a lot. After he transforms, he becomes even more cruel, treats everyone violently, and orders the soldiers to fire at citizens in the streets for no reason. Of course, Lara and her friend discover what happened, and neither of them can endure it, so they decide to stop him at any cost. Lara manages to kill one of the important leaders and also kills the Emperor's brother, is brought to a quick trial, and everyone is against her. Lara tries to prove the charges on them more and insists they deserve it because they're traitors and killing people for no reason. We learn that her mom is part of the system, and she sees her daughter in a very difficult situation and tries her best to defend her, unable to watch her hand herself over to die with her own hands. She finds out that Sai is the reason for all this and argues with him, blaming him for what happened. She threatens that if her daughter dies, she'll take revenge on him, and they get into a big fight. She tries to hit him and asks him to stay away from her daughter completely and to stop talking to her. When he learns that Jana, Lara's mom, has turned against him, he decides to go to his fiancée Shoni and asks for her help to rescue Lara and her friends. Because Shoni truly loves him, she agrees to help him without even knowing the details. He can't understand why Jana is against him and suspects her. Actually, Jana is plotting something, and we learn that she's the one who's been planning the coup for a long time. She's gathered a lot of people in secret and decided to fix all the Emperor's mistakes and save the planet from him. Sai works out a plan to rescue Lara. Before he can move from his place, someone unknown attacks him and tries to stun him with a device. Sai uses all his strength to escape, but he can't at all and is forced to use his last weapon, which is a very small and strange device, but he doesn't get to use it because he faints, and they easily capture him. When he wakes up again, he finds himself tied to a chair with a strange-looking bug placed on his face. crawling around it and starts to feel terrible pain and a severe headache. He screams loudly. They tell him that the bug will enter his body and he'll become its host. He'll keep feeling that pain until his brain explodes one day. And after that, of course, the host will die. After a while, they remove the bug and put it in a box. A huge, muscular man interrogates him, pressing him to reveal the location of Brainiac's guards. C is shocked when he hears this question, since he thought Adam was the only one who knew about all this. He asks David how he learned these things and finds out that, like Adam, he's also from the future and not from their planet at all. He says he was a very strong rival to Kal and explains that he is Kryptonian too. They were always at odds with General Zod, and he will not let anyone destroy his planet no matter what. That's why he came here, to stop Brainiac. That means he and Sai want the same thing. When he feels lost and refuses to speak, David is forced to electrocute him to make him come to, grabs him by the neck, and tells him that Superman is nothing but prey for him now, that he can control his every move. To scare him more, he grabs his assistant and kills him right in front of Sai, ordering the rest of the guards to carry out his body. C realizes David is evil and will hurt him if he refuses to cooperate. David decides to take him to find the pieces of the Guardian. Suddenly, Sai decides to agree. When the girl approaches, he hits her and she falls to the ground. He uses her hand to take her fingerprint and free himself. When the girl wakes up, they fight. She tries to stop him from escaping in any way, but she can't because he's much stronger. He throws the bug in her mouth to keep her away from him. He manages to escape easily, steals her weapon, and heads out. On the way, he notices another girl imprisoned and decides to help and take her along. He finds she's in very bad shape, helps her so she can get up, and finds out her name is Laika, and she was one of the local tribe. David kidnapped her for questioning. She explains that her tribe is very, very close, and they could go there to hide and see what they'll do. After a while, Sai finds a strange door in front of him and doesn't know how to open it. He is shocked when he finds his family's crest on it. Then he starts to feel he doesn't understand anything at all. Some guards arrive and he learns they're from her tribe, coming to rescue her. They're very worried about him. They take his weapon and search him first. When they find the stone, they treat him badly and take him along by force. They arrive at the underground hideout, where C finds a huge number of Laika's tribe and learns this is the tribe she kept talking about. They welcome him in a strange way before he even speaks, surprising him. Suddenly, an old woman appears and tells him she's the oldest in the tribe. When she learns he's from that family, she orders her men to take him and throw him in prison before even talking to him. C wonders who this woman is and why she treated him that way, why they're so afraid of his family. Laika comes to check on him and explains that anyone from his family has special powers and can destroy anything if they want. And she feels guilty because she's the one who brought him here. If it weren't for her, he would have escaped easily. She thinks of a way to help him. At this time, everything is covered in snow, and she gives him a chance to leave without anyone seeing. Because his body is strong, he can withstand the cold and harsh weather, traveling a very long distance through the snow. After a while, he gets tired, feels he may not reach the city at all, and may die. He decides to use the device he has and calls Adam, tells him his location, and asks him to come rescue him fast because he's dying. When Adam finds out, he goes to talk to Lara, who has just gotten out of prison after being rescued. They gather some men from her army to go help him. C is trapped in the ice and can't move. After a while, David appears and C faints. When he wakes up, he finds himself back in the same place, David standing the same way, and David is very angry with him for trying to escape and making a big mess. He's determined to punish him for what he did. Suddenly, the guard standing in front of him is shot because Lara arrived with her army, and all of them enter a big war and start shooting at each other. Sai stands up, tries to help as much as he can. David stands face to face with Lara and beats her many times. Suddenly, he gets distracted seeing the necklace she's wearing and stares at it strangely. She takes that opportunity and hits him several times until he passes out, and she overcomes him in the end. At that moment, he comes to and tells her he's her son. Lara is shocked when he shows her he has the same necklace she's wearing. Of course, she can't comprehend how she has a son way older than her. He starts explaining the same story, that he's from the future. Adam gives Sai a chance to talk when he realizes this is indeed a big issue and concerns Lara. Adam points his weapon at David and says that this man is behind all the destruction of his planet and needs to be finished now. David insists he came to find a solution and save the planet, and they've misunderstood him. He explains Brainiac will arrive soon and destroy the whole planet, so they need to act faster than him and figure out what to do, because that will disrupt the balance and even affect the future 200 years from now. C feels lost and doesn't know whom to believe, and so decides to tie them up until he figures out what to do. David tells them there is a very important weapon on Krypton, which is the only thing that can defeat Brainiac. He explains about a strange crest. C remembers it from the door he saw earlier and realizes this is the same crest he's talking about. He decides to go there with Lara and her army to check it himself, leaving Adam tied up. After a while, they reach the place and capture some of the Queen's guards. The Queen appears with Laika and allows them to pass through the door to see for themselves what will happen. C and those with him go to the location of the door and discover this crest is merged with Lara's family crest. Beneath the gate, they find a blood key. Naturally, Sai and David must both mix their blood for the door to open, and they cut themselves and throw their blood on the key. At that moment, Adam appears behind them with the whole tribe. He tries to talk with them and stop them from entering, but it's too late. The Queen explains that behind the door is a very strong monster called Doomsday, who is immortal and can never be killed. If he gets out, he'll destroy the entire universe. The disaster is that David knows all of this and thinks it's the only way to stop Brainiac. He ignores all their warnings, and another war and argument break out between them, everyone trying to stop the other. Suddenly, while they're fighting, the door shuts by itself. David is very angry and acts violently with everyone around him until he gets shot in a very dangerous spot. They return to the city and find things have completely changed, and there is really no energy left, just like David anticipated. A storm covers the whole city in snow. We understand it all started when Jana tried to save her daughter. At that moment, the Emperor had fully transformed and was dealing with people in an extremely violent way. The people are terrified of him, and no one can control or handle the new situation, to the point that he burns the whole energy shield in front of their eyes, and nobody can stop him. They fall into a state of shock from his actions. After a while, Jana launches a very strong coup against him and flips the entire system in her favor. C and his group realize things are bad and need to plan carefully before making any moves. After a while, they succeed in capturing one of the guards who is transformed and take him to his grandfather's lab, hoping the grandfather can find the solution and help them out. They try to figure out a way to kill the Emperor without anyone else getting hurt. Before they can do so, they find themselves completely surrounded. They are surprised when the soldiers start collapsing around them without anyone even touching them. The grandfather explains he managed to succeed in his research and disrupt the signals and communication between the soldiers and the Emperor. At this point, it becomes easy for them to deal with the Emperor without anyone interfering. Unfortunately, he turns out to be very powerful and easily pushes them away. Even David with his strength can't handle him. Sai's mother tries to save him in every way, but unfortunately, she dies in the end. Ralph escapes to a safe place, trying to protect his body so the parasite stays inside him. He also transmits new information to his leader and performs a certain spell that causes the soldiers to kill each other. Over time, his power keeps growing more and more. Sai thinks of a way to get in and is surprised to find Ralph standing in front of him, controlling him remotely and lifting him up high with great force. Luckily, Shoni appears behind her father, the king, and hits him on the head until he collapses in front of them. She manages to save her beloved from death. Before they can celebrate, Brainiac appears before them because Ralph had told him everything before dying. C and his group are forced to escape quickly, and they're right to do so, because seconds later, the ships start getting completely destroyed, and Brainiac burns down anything and everything that stands in front of him. Sai and his friends don't even get a chance and find themselves surrounded from all sides in the snow. David explains that C's grandfather isn't dead like he thought, but is trapped in a place called the Phantom Zone. He tells him he knows this because he also was trapped in that zone for a long time, and that's why he's still alive after everything that happened. He confesses he used his grandfather's key to escape from there. Sai can barely control his anger when he learns this and decides to leave him alone for Lara's sake. They start executing David's plan. Open the portal to bring Sai's grandfather back to the planet. David pretends to have surrendered and talks to Brainiac, telling him he has the ability to move through time. At first, Brainiac doesn't believe him, so David tries every way to convince him, telling him he can make the grandfather serve him all the time, takes him, and reaches the lab where they're hiding. As soon as he approaches the grandfather, it turns out all of this was a plan to trap Brainiac and get rid of him. A huge portal opens above him. When he touches the grandfather, the vortex swallows him, and he disappears immediately. According to them, he's been imprisoned forever in the world of spirits and ghosts and can never escape. Unfortunately, at the last moment, he drags Sai up with him, and without Sai, there will be no Superman in the future. Sai's Superman emblem turns into his family's crest. The grandfather finally understands David's plan and decides to destroy the device he invented quickly, opening the portal of ghosts again, hoping he can save his grandson. He keeps standing there, hopelessly, because nothing appears. David announces that he's the new general of planet Krypton and unleashes the doomsday monsters and gets ready for a very powerful beginning to his rule. In the end, the whole planet and everything on it are finished. And here ends the first part of our story. If you liked it, don't forget to give a like and subscribe, and turn on the bell so you get the second part as soon as it's out. See you in another exciting summary like this. Goodbye.
Subscribe to my channel.